He came from a small town in Germany and conquered the world of Formula One, a man so fast, so focused, so dominant, that he redefined what greatness looks like in racing. Michael Schumacher wasn't just a driver, he was a phenomenon. He built a billion-dollar empire. He ruled the track with 7 world championships. He lived a life of speed, luxury, and mystery, but in 2013, everything changed. A skiing accident left him in a coma. And since then, total silence, no interviews, no photos, no updates. For over a decade, the world has been asking, what happened to Michael Schumacher? This is the story of the rise, the fall, and the legend that still lives on. In this video, we'll dive deep into the untold story of Michael Schumacher, his unstoppable rise to glory, the controversies that followed him, his mysterious fall from the spotlight, and the lavish life he built. From multi-million-dollar mansions, private jets, and rare car collections to a hidden legacy of philanthropy, we're also giving you an exclusive look inside his private homes, luxury cars, family life, and what his silence truly means today. So buckle up, hit that like button, and subscribe, because this is a ride you don't want to miss. Michael Schumacher was born on January 3, 1969, in the small town of Herth, West Germany, a place far removed from the roaring circuits of Formula One. His father, Rolf, was a bricklayer by trade, but spent his free time maintaining go-karts at a local track. His mother, Elizabeth, worked at the canteen there. This wasn't glamour, this was grit. At just 4 years old, Michael's first go-kart wasn't bought. It was built. A small, homemade kart with a salvaged lawnmower engine. By the age of 6, he had already won his first club championship. And by 12, he was dominating junior karting leagues, not just in Germany, but across Europe. But talent only takes you so far. Racing is expensive, and the Schumachers didn't have the money. That's when Michael's first major lifeline appeared. The ADAC, Germany's automobile club, recognized his brilliance and offered sponsorship. For the first time, Michael had the financial support to dream big. In 1988, he entered Formula Knig, a stepping stone for aspiring F1 drivers. He didn't just race, he dominated. That same year, he stepped into Formula 3, the true proving ground for future champions. With each lap, each race, Michael made it clear, he wasn't here to participate, he was here to rewrite the rules. From homemade karts to professional circuits, Michael Schumacher's rise was more than talent. It was tenacity, sacrifice, and relentless ambition built from the garage floor up. August 25, 1991, Spa, Belgium. A 22-year-old German steps into a Formula One car for the very first time. The team, Jordan, the moment, electric. Michael Schumacher had never raced at Spa before, but within minutes he stunned the paddock, qualifying 7th, outpacing his experienced teammate and leaving legends whispering his name. We saw something extraordinary that day. He had the feel, the instinct. The car looked like it belonged to him. Just one race in, and Benetton signed him. Controversial? Yes. Strategic? Absolutely. 1994 would become one of the most defining and controversial seasons in Formula One history. Following the tragic death of Ayrton Senna, Schumacher rose, winning 6 of the first 7 races, but his first title came in controversy. A deliberate crash with Damon Hill at Adelaide sealed the championship. Critics cried foul, supporters called it ruthless brilliance. Michael was driven, incredibly driven. Sometimes the line between ambition and aggression blurred. In 1995, he silenced some critics by dominating the field. Second title, same focus, same ferocity. Then came a move no one expected. In 1996, Schumacher joined Ferrari, a team that hadn't seen a driver's title since 1979. The car, slow, the challenge, enormous. The vision, long-term. The first years were painful. Retirements, blown engines, missed podiums. But behind the scenes, Michael, Ross Brawn, and Jean Todt were building a dynasty. In 2000, the dream became reality. At Suzuka, Schumacher clinched Ferrari's first championship in 21 years. And he didn't stop there. He would go on to win 5 consecutive world titles 2000 through 2004. A feat unmatched, a reign undisputed. When Michael was on track, you knew exactly what was coming: precision. He was like a machine, but faster. His style was unmatched: late braking, uncanny tire management, flawless qualifying laps. He could read a race like others read headlines. By 2004, Schumacher had won 7 world titles, 5 with Ferrari. He held nearly every record in the book: most wins, most poles, most fastest laps. But even at the peak, shadows loomed, and Michael Schumacher's career and legacy was far from finished. For all his brilliance, Michael Schumacher's legacy isn't without shadows. To some, he was a genius. To others, a ruthless competitor willing to cross the line. 1994, Adelaide, the title fight between Schumacher and Damon Hill went down to the final race. Michael hit the wall, car damaged, and then a split-second move changed everything. Schumacher veered into Hill, both cars out. The race over. Schumacher, world champion. It felt deliberate. It didn't sit right, but the FIA let it stand. It was his first title and his first major controversy. But it wouldn't be his last. Fast forward to 1997, another championship decider, another collision. This time, the FIA didn't let it slide. The incident was clear. Schumacher tried to take Jacques Villeneuve out of the race. He failed. The verdict: Schumacher was disqualified from the entire season, the first driver in F1 history to face such a punishment. The move was deliberate, unsporting, and dangerous. Then came Monaco 2006. Schumacher locked up into the Rascasse corner, seemingly on purpose, just as title rival Fernando Alonso was setting a flying lap. The incident blocked the track, bringing out yellow flags and ruining Alonso's lap. Race stewards called it deliberate. Schumacher was penalized, but the legend of Rascasse stuck. After retiring in 2006, Schumacher returned to F1 in 2010, older, slower, but just as fierce. This time with Mercedes. The results: mixed, no wins, just 1 podium, but the fire still there. Even at over 40, he was unbelievably sharp, intense, always calculating. Some praised his competitiveness. Others accused him of endangering newer drivers. His rivals often labeled him a dirty driver, a racer who played by his own rules, or none at all. Schumacher rarely apologized. He never broke under pressure. His interviews were calm, his defenses calculated. Love him or loathe him, you watched him. Because in the world of Formula One, there was only one Michael Schumacher. He was the most famous racing driver on Earth, but away from the racetrack, Michael Schumacher lived simply, almost anonymously. He didn't crave the spotlight. He didn't chase headlines. In a world obsessed with excess, Michael chose focus, family, and freedom. Fitness wasn't part of his routine, it was his lifestyle. Michael trained like a triathlete, running, biking, climbing, even skydiving. He was fitter than any driver we'd ever seen. He pushed himself in silence every day. He loved speed, but not just on 4 wheels. Skiing was a lifelong passion, so was skydiving. He often said the silence midair was more thrilling than the roar of engines. Though adored by millions, Schumacher guarded his privacy like a championship lead. He rarely revealed emotion, except to those closest to him. He was soft-spoken, almost shy. A man who smiled quietly, spoke carefully, and never forgot where he came from. With the media, he was polite. With us out his team, he was a brother. Loyalty defined him. His circle was tight. Jean Todt, Ross Brawn, and a few close engineers, those were the people who truly knew Michael Schumacher. He celebrated victories like rituals with his team, never above them. And behind every great win was a humble man who believed in gratitude more than glory. He was more than a legend. He was a man of discipline, of family, of passion. A competitor on the circuit and a quiet soul beyond it. December 29, 2013, it began like any other winter day for Michael Schumacher, skiing in the French Alps with his son, Mick, but that day, everything changed. While skiing off-piste, Michael struck a hidden rock beneath the snow. He lost control, fell, and hit his head on another rock. He was wearing a helmet. But the impact was brutal. Emergency crews arrived swiftly. Michael was airlifted to the hospital in Grenoble, France. Doctors placed him in a medically induced coma to relieve pressure on his brain. The world watched and waited. For weeks, there was hope. Updates were scarce, but then silence. Outside the hospital, fans held vigils. Inside, his family stood vigil of their own, led by his wife, Corinna. In June 2014, 6 months later, Schumacher was moved to a rehabilitation facility. But no new footage, no photos, no interviews ever followed. Since then, not a single public appearance. Not a single confirmed image for over 10 years. The world has not seen Michael Schumacher. Speculation filled the silence. Was he conscious? Could he speak? Could he walk? The answers remained locked behind closed doors. Michael is here. He is fighting. And we must respect the family's decision to keep things private. Only a handful of people were allowed in: Jean Tot, close family, a few trusted friends. Even former teammates were kept at arm's length. His wife, Corinna, became his shield. His children, Gina and Mick, carried his name forward. In silence, in strength, in legacy. What little we do know is this: Michael is alive. He is loved, and he is still fighting. In the story of Michael Schumacher, the loudest chapter came in silence, a silence that still echoes, unanswered. Behind closed gates, along the quiet shores of Lake Geneva, stands one of the most private homes in all of Europe. This 20,000-square-foot mansion in Gland, Switzerland, has been Michael Schumacher's sanctuary since 2007, and after his accident, it became much more than a home, discreetly nestled among pines and overlooking the lake. The property includes an underground medical wing, equipped with rehab rooms, specialized equipment, and 24/7 medical staff. There's also a private indoor pool, a spa-like atmosphere for recovery, and even a glass-walled library that looks out onto the water, one of Michael's favorite places before the accident. His private office remains untouched. Inside, championship helmets, a framed photo with his Ferrari team, and a worn leather chair, still waiting. The estate also features a helipad, fortified security systems, and remote-controlled gates, ensuring one thing above all: absolute privacy. In 2018, Corinna Schumacher purchased another property, a sprawling Spanish villa in Mallorca, once owned by the royal family, set on 160,000 square feet of land. The estate boasts equestrian stables, a private vineyard, guest villas, and an infinity pool with sunset views over the ocean. It's more than a vacation home, it's a place of peace. A retreat for the family. A sanctuary for healing. Both homes are surrounded by nature, towering trees, wide-open gardens, and full privacy from the outside world. They are fortresses built not just for luxury, but for protection, for recovery, for silence. Every detail of Schumacher's homes reflects both his grandeur and the quiet life he's lived since the world last saw him. They are not just monuments of wealth, but sanctuaries of healing, built brick by a champion, for a fighter. While never one to flaunt his fortune, Michael Schumacher's collection says everything you need to know about him. Fast, rare, and meticulously engineered. Take the Ferrari FXX, a track-only hypercar gifted to him by Ferrari, hand-built, tuned for him. Only 30 exist, and none sound like Michael's. Then there's the Enzo, a machine that redefined the hypercar world, raw, fast, and beautiful. And of course, his championship-winning F2004, the car in which he sealed his 7th world title. A rolling relic of dominance, Michael's garage also includes a Bugatti Veyron, a Mercedes SLS AMG. And believe it or not, a humble Fiat 500 Abarth because sometimes even champions just enjoy the ride. When he wasn't driving, he was flying out in style. The Dassault Falcon to OOEX Schumacher's private jet is a business-class marvel, flying him from race to race in quiet precision. He also held a love for fine craftsmanship, from limited edition watches to bespoke bikes to sleek yachts docked in Monaco, but unlike many of his peers, Schumacher wore his luxury lightly. For him, it wasn't about show, it was about precision, style, and speed. His collection isn't just wealth. It's legacy, a moving museum of the man who made speed. An art form, the Schumacher legacy lives on, not just in records or race wins, but in resilience, unity, and love. Corinna Schumacher has been more than a wife. She became Michael's guardian emotionally, legally, and spiritually. In the years since the accident, she has protected his legacy with unwavering grace. She also maintained their passion for nature, running the family's equestrian ranch, a place of peace and purpose. Gina Maria Schumacher, their daughter, followed a different path, but with the same determination. A European equestrian champion, she brings quiet strength to every competition. Then there's Mick, the son with the same last name. And the same fire, the pressure. Immense, the name. Heavy, but Mick carries it with humility and heart. They've endured what no family should, yet they've never fractured. The Schumachers live today not in front of cameras, but in strength together. Michael Schumacher's family hasn't just preserved his legacy, they've become it. Away from the roar of engines and the flash of cameras, Michael Schumacher gave quietly. To the public, he was the face of speed. But in private, he was a giver of time, of money, of hope. Over his lifetime, Schumacher is estimated to have donated over $50 million to causes close to his heart, and yet you'd rarely hear about it. From clinics in Peru, to medical centers in Senegal, to post-war hospitals in Sarajevo, Michael funded them quietly. He became a UNESCO champion for sport, using his platform not just to inspire, but to act education, health care, disaster relief. Michael didn't just cut checks, he showed up, often unannounced, without press. After the 2004 tsunami, he donated $10 million to recovery efforts, more than many governments, in memory of a friend's child lost in the disaster. It wasn't PR, it was personal. In an era of celebrity grandstanding, Schumacher chose humility. His silence, matched only by his impact, the people who truly give don't need to be seen doing it. Unknown, Michael Schumacher didn't just build a racing legacy. He built an empire, one measured not just in records, but in revenue. At the peak of his career, Schumacher was the highest-paid athlete in the world, earning over $50 million per year in endorsements alone. He became the face of global giants, from Shell to Mercedes-Benz, to Deutsche Vermögensberatung and more. His name became a brand, licensing everything from watches, die-cast cars, racing games, to even signature fragrances. Michael's attention to detail helped shape some of the most iconic racing games of the early 2000s, each pixel approved by a perfectionist. Today, Schumacher's net worth is estimated between $600 million and $800 million, making him one of the wealthiest athletes in history. Much of that remains untouched, carefully invested, managed by his inner circle. A fortune still growing even in his absence. Even now, a decade since his last public appearance, Schumacher continues to earn millions annually through image rights, merchandise, and documentaries. His story still sells. Because Michael Schumacher isn't just a memory, he's a movement, a brand, a symbol of excellence. He turned speed into history, and history into fortune, a business empire born from a racing legend and protected by a name that still commands global respect. Few names live beyond the sport, fewer still beyond their lifetime. But Michael Schumacher, he became more than a champion. He became a symbol, of dominance, of discipline, of defiance against the odds. He raced with fury but lived with grace. He gave more than he took, and in silence, he still inspires millions. The Netflix documentary Schumacher gave the world a glimpse behind the visor, a reminder that behind the legend was a man who loved deeply, fought fiercely, and never stopped believing. His records may be matched. His titles may be overtaken, but his spirit will never be replaced. Michael Schumacher's story is far from over. His silence echoes louder than words, reminding the world of a man who once conquered time itself. What's your favorite Schumacher moment? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're inspired by greatness, hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the legends of Formula One. Watch the official Schumacher documentary for a deeper look into his journey. And don't miss our exclusive profile on Mick Schumacher carrying the torch forward.